Coming up on the Q30 Newscast, we have more information on a recent protest happening on campus involving a construction company used by Quinnipiac, and more on campus safety considering recent threats.
We also have details on how Quinnipiac supports mental health in recognition of Suicide Prevention Month, and we look at some political news updates.
And in lighter news, a special new partnership between Quinnipiac Athletics and a New Haven pizza spot.
All that and more coming up on the Q30 Newscast.
Welcome to the Q30 Newscast. I'm Julia Barcello.
And I'm Sydney Weimer. Now, Julia, we both know that there has been ongoing construction and renovations on Quinnipiac's campus, but recently there has been some controversy over operations within the construction company.
The company is working on one of the university's current South Quad projects. Q30's Connor Core has more on the story.
Friday morning, a peaceful demonstration by the North Atlantic Regional Council of Carpenters took place at the new road entrance at Quinnipiac University. As a part of the South Quad project, Quinnipiac University contracted FIP Construction out of Farmington, Connecticut. FIP then subcontracted the work out to GDS Construction to install framing and drywall into the Quinnipiac Academic Building. GDS is now under investigation by the Connecticut Department of Labor Wage and Hour Division for wage theft, possible unemployment, tax, and insurance fraud. Fuentes represents the North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters and was taken back by finding out what was going on at the worksite.
Paying young men under the table cash the first week and then in a check same as cash subsequent weeks. An unfair competition environment and definitely not a level playing field for any law-abiding contractor who would want to participate on that project and do the right thing and put local people to work. So
FIP did provide a statement to Q30 stating that, quote, FIP Construction Incorporated does not support wage theft nor insurance and tax fraud. The North Atlantic States Regional Council of Carpenters informational demonstration has wrongfully accused FIP in their flyer and posted signage.
I can appreciate why they would make that sort of a statement, but what we found is what we found. And ignorance is not an excuse, and not knowing is not acceptable, right? You should be verifying, vetting, making sure that those partners are being truthful and honest, and maybe dig a little deeper to ensure that they're not putting them in a predicament by their business practices. Or as my old man used to say when I was growing up, tell me who your friends are, and I'll tell you who you are.
Now, the university has declined to comment on this ongoing investigation by the Connecticut Department of Labor. Reported from the South Quad for Q30 News, I'm Connor Core.
In other news, last night the SGA election results came in. The identity senator is Victor Constanza. Scarlett Kelly won the international senator position, and the class of 2027 senator is Alyssa DeWitt, and the president of the class of 2028 is Samantha Minikini, and the 2028 senators are Mia Gonzalez, Lexi Pleasant, J.J. Saunders, Morgan Shearer, and Thomas Cox.
So yesterday we had great turnout in our general SGA fall election from students of all classes, but we ended up with a tie between two candidates for our first-year president. There were originally 7 candidates for first-year president, but because there was this tie, we held a runoff with only the top 2 candidates, so students could choose just between those two. We had great turnout from our first-year class again today with over 300 votes. I'm very excited about the turnout and how students were able to really pick who they have representing them this year.
With more exciting Quinnipiac news, the Wall Street Journal and College Pulse has named Quinnipiac one of the nation's top 100 colleges. Quinnipiac ranked 91 overall among public and private institutions. This recognition comes as a result of multiple factors the university excels in, such as graduation rate, learning environment, and student outcomes.
President Olean is holding office hours in which students can sign up for a 10-minute time slot to speak with the president. Office hours will be held Tuesday, September 24th from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. To register, click the link in the email invitation. Now, Quinnipiac is also making an addition to the North Lot. Soon, students with electric cars will be able to use EUV chargers in the parking lot. Eli Ehlers is there live with more details. Eli?
Yeah, Julia and Sydney, I'm here in North Lot with the charging stations that are right behind me. Quinnipiac has added electric vehicle charging stations. This move by the school comes as part of Quinnipiac's commitment to offer a charging option and in support of sustainability initiatives. They have partnered with ChargePoint to install the electric vehicle charging stations. There are 8 charging stations that will be available to the Quinnipiac community members only. You are required to have a QU parking permit or a visitor pass to use the charging stations. Users will be charged 30 cents per kilowatt per hour. To pay the fees, you will need to download the ChargePoint app on your cell phone. If you don't have an electric vehicle, the university asks you to not park in the EV charging stations. If you do, the school has the right to fine you or even tow you. The charging hubs are expected to be finished soon. That's all I have from North Lot. For Q30 News, I'm Eli Ehlers. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks for the update, Eli. As we continue through the month of September, it is important to acknowledge that this month is dedicated to National Suicide Prevention Awareness. Q30's Ashley Potvin has more on what students should know when it comes to recognizing warning signs, as well as locating necessary resources available to help.
September is National Suicide Prevention Month, and this past Monday, Quinnipiac University's Honors DEIA Pillar held an event for Suicide Prevention Month awareness.
Now, talking about suicide or, someone wanting to take their own life, it's not easy. It's very difficult. It can make people uncomfortable. Some of you in this room right now may be uncomfortable, but unfortunately this is something that it helps to talk about, because by us talking about it, we are ways of preventing it.
The event was designed to inform students about suicide prevention with the overall goal of destigmatizing mental health and illness. Students who attended the event also had access to pamphlets and guides filled with resources on how to help someone who is struggling. Emily McCabe, who is a professor of social work at Quinnipiac University, is also a certified mental health first aid trainer. She is the former president of the Southern Connecticut chapter of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention and is able to speak on what students can do to bring and spread awareness.
There's still a lot of stigma related to suicide and mental health. And so I think part of it is for us to say, like, hey, if something seems a little off about someone that we know or care about, just asking the question, like, what's going on? Just kind of having a nice kind of conversation to let people know that you're worried is really important.
She also shared some resources Quinnipiac students have access to on campus.
We've obviously on campus have the counseling services that are available. Anyone can also, and that's through, if you're on MyQ, you can just access it through like Student Life on drop down of the MyQ, and you can see counseling service there and you can make an appointment. But also you can make a care report for someone that you are worried about, and the care team at Quinnipiac will reach out to that person.
Although September is National Suicide Prevention Month, mental health should be talked about all year round.
It's not just September, that really suicide prevention should be happening all year round, especially as we head into the winter months when people maybe tend to get a little bit more down.
If you or someone you know is struggling with their mental health, reach out to a friend for help or contact the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline at 988. Reporting for Q30 News, I'm Ashley Potvin.
This past Monday, the Multicultural Student Leadership Council held the annual cultural fair, where students were welcomed by various cultural organizations on campus. Students were able to learn more about the various organizations and how they can join.
Quinnipiac is taking extra precautions to ensure its community is kept safe after the bomb threat to the Mount Carmel campus 2 weeks ago. Q30's Evangeline Crossley is here with us to explain how the university is maintaining a safe environment for students, faculty, and staff.
Evangeline, public safety, what do you have for us?
2 weeks following a bomb threat made to the university, a lot of members of the Quinnipiac community have thoughts to share about safety on campus. I spoke to some students on the quad and got mixed reactions. While some think that public safety and the Hamden police responded well to the situation, others believe that they could have done more. Parents appreciate the school's transparency in this and other situations on campus. And I even spoke to the Chief of Public Safety, Tony Reyes, about how the department can keep campus safe. You'll have to stick around for my full package to hear what he has to say. But for now, I'm Evangeline Crossley, Julia and Sydney, back to you.
Thanks, Evangeline. Now stay tuned for more updates on everything from campus safety procedures to political news. We also have been seeing some cooler weather recently, and I think I might be ready to say goodbye to summer.
Julia, I have to disagree with you. I love a good beach day. Nothing quite compares to taking a dip in the water on a hot summer day. On that note, it's time for us to take a dip into our first break of the night. But before we go, here's Carter Kane with a 3-day weather forecast.
Thanks, Julie and Sydney. Now let's dive right into the 3-day forecast. Today we saw a high of 79, perfect for short sleeve shirt weather. Though creeping in was a low of 58, pretty chilly, perfect for me wearing this jacket on the way over here. And now looking next to the next 2 days, we have Thursday, a high of 78, another great hot day, but a low of 61, so kind of creeping into that fall weather. And Friday kind of mimics that with a high of 74 and a low of 58. And we'll be right back after this short commercial break.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
My name's Stacy, I'm 57, and I was adopted in 2020. One teen can come in and make you look at life in a whole different way.
You know, he's my father, so I look up to him a lot. If I can be 10% of the man he is, I'll be a happy person for sure.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
With the rise of security threats at numerous high schools and universities across the country, there is a growing concern regarding student safety. Quinnipiac University experienced its own just 2 weeks ago. Evangeline Crossley has more on the story.
It's been 2 weeks since 22-year-old Nakeem Okafor made a post to the Quinnipiac Yik-Yak alleging that there was a pipe bomb in the Student Center women's bathroom. Since then, the school has taken time to assess their reaction to the threat and see where changes can be made. Some members of the community expressed concerns regarding the school's vague statements in the immediate aftermath.
Especially when they go to warn you, like we'll hear the bears almost constantly. But as to a bomb threat, it's, hey, police are investigating. What about?
Tony Reyes, the chief of public safety, says their debrief following the threat opened the department's eyes to how they can improve communication.
We realized even that day, and we mitigated it, for our second communication, was that the initial communication may have been a little too vague and was causing some confusion.
But to a parent like Marie Hayes, Quinnipiac's communication is more thorough than other schools, like Sacred Heart in Fairfield, where she had another child enrolled.
I appreciate all that the school does with the notifications. I never got messages the same way that Quinnipiac always makes sure that there's a message sent out while letting parents know.
While there was some faults with how the university handled the situation, lots of members of the community think public safety took the threat seriously and worked quickly.
I think because it was on the social media platform, it's very easy to push to the side and not take it as a serious concern, but they acted and they acted fast, and I think that gives me a lot of faith in what they do here.
Public safety was notified of the threat by a student who saw the post and reported it to them. Chief Reyes says monitoring is key to keeping forums like Yik-Yak safe.
Our best defense and what we're focused on is being aware of these platforms and making sure that we're monitoring them to the best of our ability.
Chief Reyes and the Department of Public Safety are always looking for the community's feedback. Reach out to them if you have any thoughts to share about how we can keep campus safe. Reporting for Q30 News from outside the Public Safety Office, I'm Evangeline Crossley.
Following the threat at Quinnipiac's campus, suspect Nakeem Okafor has his arraignment tomorrow, September 19th at Meriden Court. Stick with us for updates.
With the presidential election approaching, this past Tuesday, Quinnipiac participated in National Voter Registration Day. Tabling took place in the School of Medicine throughout the afternoon in order to bring awareness to the upcoming election, as well as encourage students to register as voters if they have not yet done so.
Voters are already taking to the Quinnipiac polls, showing tight polling in swing states. In North Carolina, Vice President Kamala Harris is leading by 49%, and former President Trump is just behind at 46%. In Georgia, Trump is ahead at 49% and Harris is following at 45%. Now, Sydney, we've been talking a lot about politics in the election, but there has been other political news going on across the country, including another assassination attempt on former President Trump.
Yes, there's been a lot of political movement, and Brianna Drachtenberg is here with more. Brianna?
Thank you, Sydney and Julia. Starting things off in Florida, a second assassination attempt was made on former President Donald Trump on Sunday. While Trump was golfing in West Palm Beach, authorities spotted a firearm poking out of the shrubbery around 400 to 500 yards away. According to U.S. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe Jr., while Trump was playing on the 5th hole, a Secret Service agent sweeping the 6th-hole green noticed the armed subject and immediately discharged his firearm. The suspect has since been identified as Brian Wesley Roof. Roof is facing charges of possessing a firearm despite a prior felony conviction and of possessing a firearm with an obliterated serial number. With it being just weeks away from the 2024 election, Microsoft has said that Russian operatives are intensifying their online attacks on Vice President Kamala Harris. According to Microsoft, the company has been creating disseminating videos that promote, quote, outlandish conspiracy theories, end quote, that are aimed at inciting racial and political divisions in the U.S. These videos have included claims of Harris supporters attacking an attendee at a Donald Trump rally and have falsely claimed Harris of paralyzing a girl during a hit-and-run accident in 2011. According to CNN, as of Tuesday afternoon, both of these videos were still accessible on X. This is the latest report of Russian operatives attempting to use social media to influence the 2024 election. Finally tonight, former presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has announced that he is being investigated by the federal authorities for collecting the head from a dead whale carcass. Kennedy said during a campaign rally for former President Donald Trump that, quote, I received a letter from the National Marine Fisheries Institute saying that they were investigating me for collecting a whale specimen 20 years ago, end quote. His daughter, Kennedy, said that after finding the carcass washed up on shore, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. ran down to the beach with a chainsaw to cut its head off. He then bungee corded the head to the car for the remainder of the trip. The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration said that Kennedy violated the Marine Mammal Protection Act by cutting off its head in 1994. They hope that the association will consider all appropriate civil and criminal penalties for Kennedy. Now, that's all I have for political news this week. Sydney and Julia, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Brianna. It's about time for us to take our second break of the night. But when we come back, we luckily have Carter Kane again in studio to give us all the weather updates we need for the next 7 days.
And stick with us for a full weather forecast.
Owen, when you came into my life, it was a whirlwind.
I just can't do it.
We didn't know what the future would hold, but we knew you would always be a part of it. Adopting you was the best decision in our life. And I am so proud to call you my son.
We are taught you don't talk about your problems with nobody because you could get in trouble. And I've been through a lot. Anxiety, depression, sexual assault. When I decided to get help, my life changed. And the mental health box, that was one of the big tools. Accepting help means that we're allowing somebody to bless our life. It's freeing. We got stronger together. Love your mind.
Now we saw a preview of the weather, but I'm wondering how this weekend will be.
You know what? I'm wondering the same thing, Julia. The weather has been pretty good recently. Hopefully it continues. Carter, what can you tell us about this weekend's weather into next week?
Thank you, Julia and Sydney. Now let's go right back into the 7-day forecast. On Wednesday, we saw a high of 77 with a low of 63. And looking through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, we see some rainy day temps, kind of humid 70-ish degrees with lows of 64, 59, and 55. And looking through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all 68 with a low of 51, 52, 53, those fall temperatures creeping in. Now let's look throughout the state and kind of see what we got going on here. In Torrington, we have a high of 76 and a low of 60. And kind of going towards the coast, we see New London, New Haven with 75, 70-ish degrees with lows of 62 and 60. Even Stamford with a high of 78 and a low of 63. And that's pretty much all we have for weather. Sydney, Julia, how are you guys feeling about the fall temperatures?
Well, hopefully this good weather will stay, especially with undergraduate open house beginning this Saturday, September 21st. Registration is open on the Quinnipiac website for all open house events from this Saturday to October 21st and November 16th.
Today, a blood drive was held in the Carl Hansen Student Center, hosted by Community Action Project. The drive was held as part of the organization's 25 events each semester promoting community service. To participate, students signed up through QR codes and tabling on campus. If you are interested in participating, 2 more blood drives will be held on campus December 3rd and 4th.
And I feel like it's just a really easy way to volunteer and help out in the community, and I'm not afraid of needles. So I just donate.
Heading off campus across the country, there's been a lot happening.
Yes, certainly. And to keep us updated on all things national news, we have Andrew Allison in studio with us to share more information. Andrew?
Thank you, guys. Sean Diddy Combs became the latest prominent figure in the music industry to face criminal charges related to sexual misconduct. Combs was arrested and indicted on charges of racketeering and sex trafficking on Monday. The indictment is the result of a federal investigation that began after accusations from a former girlfriend. Federal agents raided Combs' homes in March 2024 as part of a warrant issued by a U.S. District Court. He has been accused of sexual assault, sex trafficking, and other criminal activity in lawsuits stemming back to November 2023. Combs has claimed innocence, calling the allegations sickening. The Polaris Dawn mission, a private spaceflight enterprise led by billionaire Jared Isaacman in collaboration with SpaceX, successfully landed back on Earth off the Florida coast early Sunday. The mission successfully completed the first ever commercial spacewalk and several other spaceflight milestones, including achieving the highest orbital altitude by a spacecraft not headed to the moon. It served as a test bed for SpaceX's advanced spacesuits in preparation for their future Mars colonization plans. Polaris Dawn was the first of 3 Polaris missions, with the final mission planned to involve the first human spaceflight on the SpaceX Starship rocket. Meta is introducing new teen accounts on Instagram to increase the safety and privacy of users under 18 years old. These new changes were designed in response to concerns about teens' mental health and social media addiction. Teen accounts will have more restrictions and parental controls. They include features like default private accounts, usage limits, restricted messaging, and parental control over recommended content. There are also plans to limit notifications at certain hours to promote sleep. Meta plans to use AI to find teens who are lying about their age and require them to verify their age in some way. Critics argue that Meta is only implementing these changes due to pressure from lawmakers and public opinion, and some believe that these changes are not enough and teens will find their way around them. That's all for national news. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thank you, Andrew. I'm interested to hear the reactions from these new Instagram restrictions, but unfortunately, we have our final break of the night.
That's right, Julia. But stay with us as we have updates on a new addition to the men's ice hockey coaching staff, as well as your Quinnipiac sports update for this week.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes. Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right? I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own. And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. Two milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable. The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kids should know.
Meet the Scan, a simple procedure whose mission is to detect lung cancer early.
I'm here to save you.
But I feel fine.
That's great, but you may still be at high risk for lung cancer.
Oh man, that's a new fence.
If you smoke, early detection could save your life. Learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Now, ahead of the 2024 through 2025 season, Rand Pecknold adds a new coach to their bench. Rick Bennett joins the staff after spending previous years coaching the ECHL. most notably coaching at Union College, also a member of the ECAC, winning the 2014 Frozen Four National Championship game. Bennett will look to help the Bobcats back to the national championship game this season. But now, Sydney, we both know neither of us are big sports people.
You know, you're right, Julia. I have been quoted saying that my favorite hockey team is the Boston Celtics.
And I didn't know what a dugout was until last year. But that doesn't stop us from attending Quinnipiac sports.
That's right. Thankfully, we have Brittany Braun-Lieben here with us to share everything we need to know about Quinnipiac sports.
Thanks, guys. Let's move into my favorite segment, sports. This weekend opened up with some men's soccer on Saturday against LaSalle University. After a full 90 minutes, the Bobcats drew a tie. Junior goalkeeper Carl Netzel made 4 key saves and faced a total of 10 shots. This was his second shutout of the season and the 9th of his career. Midfielders Noé Cabezas, Alex Miller, and Philip Kangman each had 1 shot on goal. Overall, the Bobcats took a total of 13 shots. The Bobcats were also awarded 3 corner kicks but could not convert on any of them. This game had a total of 4 yellow cards and 1 red card given to Navin Barr on LaSalle. The Bobcats are so far 2-3-1 on the season, and their next game is Tuesday, September 24th in Hamden against Yale. On Sunday, the field hockey team won their second game of the season against the Merrimack Warriors 7-1. This was the most the program has scored in a single game since 2004. Francesca Escoya scored her first collegiate hat trick in the game's first quarter, but she wasn't done yet, scoring her 4th goal of the game later. Escoyas in this game tied Quinnipiac's single game record, 4 goals. This led to Escoyas being named Big East First Year Player of the Year. Martina Calvera set a new team record for assists in this game too by earning 4. The Bobcats outshot the Warriors 41-2 in the contest. They earned 22 penalty corners and were able to convert on 5 of them. Volleyball took a trip down to Virginia to compete in the George Mason Invitational. The Bobcats started the invite with a win against Navy in 5 sets. Elena Giacomini, Yamir Ganesh, and Leilani Kaijusta each recorded a double-double. Alexandra Tennant and Giacomini each had 4 service aces in the win. Later in the afternoon, Quinnipiac would lose to Old Dominion in 4 sets. Yamir Ganesh led the team with 13 kills and 10 digs, earning a double-double. Quinnipiac would end the Invitational with a 3-0 victory over George Mason. Giacomini led the Bobcats with 13 kills, and Yamir Ganesh finished with 10 kills and 3 service aces. Dama Ganesh had 20 assists and 3 service aces in the victory. That's it for sports this week. Back to you guys at the desk.
Yesterday, former Quinnipiac rugby player Alona Marr kicked off the 33rd season of Dancing with the Stars with a cha-cha dance to Shania Twain's Man, I Feel Like a Woman. Marr danced alongside professional Latin ballroom dancer Alan Burston during her performance. Judges on the show rewarded Marr and Burston with an exciting score of 18 out of 30. Quinnipiac Athletics has an exciting new partnership with a highly rated pizza place in New Haven.
Frank Pepe's and Quinnipiac Athletics are now partners. Andrew Reynolds takes a bite at the story.
If you've been able to go to a Quinnipiac soccer or field hockey game in Hamden, you may have noticed an iconic New Haven restaurant as one of the new sponsors displayed on the video board.
Frank Pepe was an Italian immigrant that came over here, and he started the coal-fired pizza on Worcester Street.
Frank Pepe's Pizzeria has become a staple in Connecticut and the Northeast. For 2 years in a row, Quinnipiac students have ranked the nearly century-old pizzeria as one of the favorite New Haven pizza spots. Quinnipiac students are not the only ones who have fallen in love with Frank Pepe's Pizzeria. It is an experience all college students across Southern Connecticut and beyond have.
It's become everybody's college memory. So many good colleges are down in that area of New Haven. And so many students over the years have visited and made us their college place.
Quinnipiac Athletics told Q30 in a statement, quote, "The University and Department of Athletics are thrilled to be working with the wonderful team at Frank Pepe's Pizza. Both Quinnipiac and Frank Pepe's have been cornerstone institutions in New Haven County for nearly 100 years, so it was only right to formalize a partnership. We can't wait to have them be a part of our campus community and bringing delicious slices to Hamden," end quote.
We're just happy to have the partnership. We're happy for the people like you that like to visit our brand. We greatly appreciate all the accolades. And we always say, though, we're only as good as our last pizza. That's what humbles us.
Reporting from New Haven, Andrew Reynolds, Q30 News.
Well, we'll definitely have to go and try it out. But unfortunately, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of the Q30 Newscast. Be sure to follow Q30 News on social media to stay up to date with what's happening on and around campus.
For all the producers and everyone working behind the scenes, I'm Sydney Weimer.
And I'm Julia Barcello. See you next week, Bobcats.